Every time that pops into my head, I'm like shocked all over again. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about expensive friggin' products that I do not think are worth your money. I have done tons of videos on my favorite drugstore makeup. Recently did a video sharing some of my current favorite Sephora higher end makeup. So I have favorites from both drugstore and high end. If it's good, it's good. In most cases, I feel like there's no correlation between the brand and the price tag and quality. That's just how I feel. I have so many amazing drugstore affordable products that are better than a lot of high-end stuff. And some high-end products I do think are worth the money, but these ones, I just don't. I can't justify it. Doesn't make sense in my mind. But if you're excited for this video and you enjoy it while you're watching, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Bayrito family and subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so let's start out with something that I think I was just a little bit let down by because there's so much hype on YouTube for this product. So the way I try and think about all makeup is that if it was in a plain black packaging, had no brand on it, and you were just trying it out, what would you think of it? Because I feel like sometimes we hear things, whether it's from other YouTubers or friends or whatever, about how amazing a product is, and you have this like kind of preconceived notion in your mind about how amazing it's going to be, and that can kind of sometimes affect how you actually feel about it. Or sometimes you think like, if everyone else likes it, it must be amazing, or I'm doing something wrong. And sometimes products just don't work the same for people, especially with foundation, especially with face products. Something about the way everyone's skin is, products can just work totally different on people, and people have different preferences in formulas, in makeup, in everything in life. So just because I don't like something does not mean it's a bad product. It just isn't for me and for what I like. So with that being said, a lot of people absolutely love this bronzer. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze Coconut Perfect Tan. This is in Tantastic. So I've been trying this out for, I want to say, a little over a month now. The shade isn't the issue. Like, shade is obviously going to look different on a lot of different skin tones, and I think that the shade might be why a lot of people like this so much, because on maybe more like tan skin, it might just be one of those bronzers that looks really flattering on the skin. But for my skin, the shade doesn't look particularly great. I always have to go over it with my powder brush to kind of tone it down so it's less orangey. The shade isn't my big issue with this though. It's that the formula is so dry and difficult to blend for me. I'm wearing it right now, and I just find that whenever I have this on, my bronzer looks almost like patchy. It's a very odd formula to where if you even feel it with your hand, or even when you put your brush in, it feels like you're just rubbing your brush on like nothing. And then when you blend it out, it just doesn't have like a smooth, easy blend on my skin. I feel like it drags a little bit, it looks a little bit patchy, and then again, the shade just doesn't work for me. So with those three things, this one is just a total pass for me. This retails for $49, which is an expensive bronzer. I've just tried to wear this one so many different times and make it work, and it's just not for me. I just don't like it, and I definitely don't think it's worth $49. If I bought this from the drugstore for $10, I wouldn't reach for it, so I just don't like this one for me. So I have two products from Drunk Elephant here, but I use two Drunk Elephant products that I also swear by. If you want to go watch my skincare routine, I have a whole video on it. You'll see the two Drunk Elephant products I love in there. But these two I just don't feel like are worth it. The first one is the Drunk Elephant Bee Hydra Intensive Hydration Gel. So I have very dry skin, and this just does nothing for me, like literally nothing. I'm at the point now where just to use this up so it's not a total waste, I'm just applying it on my chest area at night, like underneath my moisturizer, because even if I use this on my décolleté area, I don't feel like my skin is any more hydrated on its own. I have to like layer this with a moisturizer, and even then, I feel like just the moisturizer on its own does more than this gel. This one retails for $52. So if you're looking for a moisturizer that really does something, my holy grail when I was on Accutane and had even like drier skin than I do now was a moisturizer by the drugstore from Cerave. I'll link it down below. It comes in like a little tub and it is incredible. So I think with skincare, it all depends on the ingredients. There are a lot of high-end skincare brands that you would be shocked at the ingredients in there. And there are some drugstore, more affordable brands like The Ordinary and CeraVe that have amazing ingredients, but that are an affordable price. So it just depends. So speaking of The Ordinary, this next Drunk Elephant product I actually like. I just have found a dupe for it, so I don't think it's worth the price tag, but it is definitely not a bad product. It does work, but I actually like the Ordinary one a little bit better, and this one I believe is around $8. This is the TLC Sukari Baby Facial. It's a 25% AHA, 2% BHA. This one is actually a little bit stronger. It's a 30% AHA, 2% BHA peeling solution. So basically these are like 10-minute quick exfoliating kind of treatments. You only want to leave these on for a little bit. I use these about once a week, and I do switch off between the two, but I actually feel like this one does more for my skin. And this one is $80. So if I can get the exact same thing with good ingredients for literally $70 cheaper, I mean, why not, right? It's not bad. So if you just, I don't know, want to splurge and have an affinity for the Drunk Elephant brand or something, like, it's not a bad product at all. But if you haven't tried the Ordinary one, try it. It's amazing and it's so much more affordable. All right, next up is an $87 foundation. This is the Tom Ford Waterproof Foundation and Concealer. And I actually have a more recent video, like within the past few months, trying out this foundation since I've had dry skin. I originally reviewed this when I had oily skin, so now you can see what it looks like on dry skin and oily skin. So depending on your skin type, I'll leave both of those videos down below so you can check them out. This isn't a bad foundation, like it doesn't look bad on my skin by any means. It just, for $87, there is no way that I would recommend this foundation. My holy grail, like if I was stranded on an island and could only have one foundation would be the CYO Life Proof Foundation, and this is $7 on Walgreens. The most I would pay for this would probably be $50. Like I would actually pay $50 for this because it looks amazing on my skin. $87 for foundation is just wacko. Price tag aside, it just looks very average on my skin. If I just had this again in like a black bottle and put it on my skin, I would think it looked fine. I still wouldn't reach for it over some of my other foundations. So this one's just a hard pass for the price and the formula. Not worth it for my skin. So Tatcha for me, I have one product by Tatcha that I do think is worth the money, the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I've done a whole half face comparison of this primer. I do feel like this does something, not with every foundation, but I do think it does stuff for most foundations, like you can see a difference. So this one I do think is worth it from this brand, but this product is the Pure One Step Camellia Cleansing Oil. This is a mini size, but the full size of this retails for $48. The fresh one that I love is $42. So that is still pricey, but for me, I'm 100% willing to pay $42 for the fresh sea berry cleansing oil because it doesn't dry out my skin. It takes off everything. It makes my skin feel good. It doesn't break me out. This one on my dry skin feels so stripping. My skin after I use this feels extremely dry. I even tried using this as like shaving cream because I was like, okay, I have this, like they sent this in PR, so I have it. I've already tried it. I'm going to keep using it up. I tried to use this to shave my legs and my legs felt so dry after using this too. So it's not just like on my face. There's something about this that feels so stripping. It does take everything off, but again, not any better than like the Neutrogena cleansing oil. So just for $48 for this one, definitely not worth it. Okay guys, we're getting into it. So we're going to talk about Natasha Denona. I did a whole video trying out these two palettes. Both of these are newer by Natasha Denona, the Gold palette and the Safari palette. So I'm wearing the Safari palette on my eyes right now, which we'll get into both of these. These eyeshadow palettes are $129 each. $129. I just feel like every time that pops into my head, I'm like shocked all over again. Let's start off with first the one that I definitely don't like and don't recommend, and that's the Gold palette. As someone who every day applies my eyeshadow after my foundation, the fallout in this palette is just not workable. Usually I can wet my brush, use some glitter glue, something, like make it work. I still get so much fallout with these shadows to the point where I just never want to reach for it because I don't want to deal with it. The matte shades in here are nice. Are they anything out of this world, incredible, special for $129? Absolutely not. There's 6 matte shades in here. Other shades just make this whole palette not worth it for me because I'm not reaching for over half the shades in here. The other thing is that for that price point, I know some people say that you're supposed to be able to pop out these shadows, so that's why they're in this like foam thing. But if you're gonna have like a gold outside, to me that makes it seem like you're supposed to keep it in this palette. Like if they're gonna make a pretty outside, I would think that it's probably not entirely made for people who are just going to pop these in Z palettes because then they would just do pans only. So with that being said, the fact that you get a like cheap plastic thing with the name on it and then this is foam and feels like such low quality, It just really bothers me for that price point. So this one for me is like a total regret purchase, would not recommend. And I should say again that these two were my first Natasha Denona eyeshadow experiences. I haven't tried any of her other palettes, so I'm not sure how the other ones are. The palette on my eyes right now is the Natasha Denona Safari palette, and this one I just have mixed feelings on. Some of them can look a little bit patchy, but then some of them blend out like a freaking dream and are totally beautiful and pigmented, like the shades I used on my eyes today. So I went in with this shade as like the light shade, the light pink shade on my lid, and then basically all the other like purpley tones and browns in here. This is a complete matte palette, and I was so drawn to this one just because you get some really interesting tones in here that you like don't usually see in eyeshadow palettes. I felt like if I was gonna spend that much money trying a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, this would probably be like my best shot at liking one and thinking that it's worth it. So with that in mind, do I think this is worth $129? No. I like this one. I just don't think it's that much different than other palettes that I have that are less than half the cost or even more than that. So probably the max I would pay for this would be about $55, maybe $60. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I don't find, by the way, that I get bad fallout with this palette at all. Most of them are just easy, blendable, pigmented. There are a couple shades that are a little bit trickier to work with, but for the most part, when I use this palette, I can get a nice like blended eyeshadow look like this one, and I like how the look turns out. Just don't feel like it's worth $130. And if I was going back in time knowing what I know now, I wouldn't purchase it for that price. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly touch on these ones because I have talked in depth about Viseart in the past and my thoughts on them, I believe in a Raves and Rejects video. So I'll link that video down below if you wanna see kind of like my full thoughts on these. But Viseart, to me, it's not even that it's not worth the money. Like the Natasha Denona Safari palette, like I said, is good, but I don't think it's worth the money. These shadows I never reach for because they don't work for me. Like I tried to use this one again yesterday just to be reminded of what I didn't like about it since it has been a while. When I say this was in the back of my makeup eyeshadow drawer, it was in the friggin' back left corner, shoved to the bottom. It was like as far away from me as possible, and that's where it's been since I moved into this place. I don't know if I got a dud. I did order this off of Glambot, so maybe I did not get like an authentic palette. Everything I've tried from Glambot in the past has been authentic. Most people, when they talk about this palette, talk about how pigmented and blendable and amazing it is, and for me, they are so freaking dry. On the eyes, it is hard for me to get like a look like this with these shadows. Almost impossible. They are very patchy on my eyes. They don't feel creamy. They don't feel easy to blend at all. This palette, by the way, I should say what it is the Neutral Matte palette, and it retails for $80. I also had the Petite Pro palette. This was actually the first one I picked up, and when I said in a video that I didn't like this, a lot of people were like, those ones are different. You have to try the normal, like bigger palette, so that's why I got this one. But this palette is also incredibly dry, not pigmented. You get 8 in here. These mini ones retail for $30, this tiny little palette, and it's cardboard, and then this is also cheap plastic right here, which again, I know Viseart is kind of targeted more towards like working makeup artists, so if you wanted to pop that out and put it in a Z palette or something, you totally could, but still for $30, can we get like a little bit better packaging? And then the last two things, which actually have some nice dust on them because they've been sitting at the top of my shower rack thing and never being used. So these are the Way Shampoo and Conditioner, the Repair line. I had heard so many good things about this. 99% of high-end shampoos and conditioners don't work out for me. I either don't like the shampoos don't lather, I don't like the way they make my hair feel, the conditioner just doesn't do anything for my hair. So that's the experience that I have with a lot of high-end shampoos and conditioners for whatever reason. But I do have 2 lines of shampoo and conditioner high-end that I've tried that I absolutely love. The Laanza Trauma Treatment Color Care line, that one's amazing, and also the Pureology Hydrate line. So I am willing to pay a little bit more if I feel like it really is doing something for my hair. And I know a lot of drugstore shampoos and conditioners don't have the best ingredients. I love the L'Oreal Everpure line. With that being said, this did absolutely nothing for my hair. Both the shampoo and conditioner did not make my hair feel soft. I didn't feel like it was helping with literally anything. Like I wouldn't pay $5 for these. Each of these, by the way, retail for $28. So very pricey shampoo and conditioner. Again, I would be willing to pay close to that. I think the Pureology Hydrate I got for like half off. I usually wait till Ulta does one of their sales or something. I don't know if I would pay $28 like full price for any shampoo and conditioner. That just seems like a little bit ridiculous to me when you can find good drugstore options for like $5. But the price tag aside, the formula doesn't work for me and it smells so repulsive to me. Oh God, this one especially, the shampoo. Nothing against grandmas. I love my grandma. She's amazing. And this isn't what she smells like. But if you know the scent of like older women perfumes, typically, this is exactly what it smells like. Bathroom spray, potpourri, like something that smells awful. The conditioner doesn't smell as bad to me. If I liked the formula of this, I would probably suck it up and use the conditioner. I don't love the scent, but it doesn't smell awful. The shampoo to me smells awful. So that's everything. If I didn't like something in here that you absolutely love, everyone has different thoughts and opinions. We can all be fine with that and live in harmony, you know? But if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can subscribe. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.